10,000 years ago, the day Xiao Hao was crowned Emperor of Pandaria. He followed the tradition of all the emperors before him and sought the counsel of the great water speaker of the Jinyu. With a light heart, the young emperor stood before the prophet and waited to hear what he presumed would be good news. The water speaker listened to the song of the great river, but his eyes widened with terror. From the Book of Burdens, Chapter 1. And the water speaker saw before him a kingdom of sorcerers surrounding a great well, and from this well they called forth a host of demons. Green fire rained from the skies, and all the world's continents shattered. Terrified by the visions presented before him, Emperor Xiao Hao realized that he was not to live a life of luxury. From the humble town of Dawn's Blossom, his journey to save Pandaria began. It was from this location 10,000 years ago that Xiao Hao, the last emperor of Pandaria, sought out the counsel of the Jade Serpent. From the Book of Burdens, Chapter 3. Forlorn and without hope, the last emperor ascended the sheer slope of Mount Everest. Daggers of cold sliced through his silken robes, and the biting wind heaped scorn on his journey. Only at the very peak of the mountain did the emperor find quiet and solace, and here he spoke with the Jade Serpent, the spirit of wisdom. The Jade Serpent urged Xiao Hao to divest himself of his burdens, to purify his spirit, and to become one with the land. The emperor was perplexed by the Jade Serpent's counsel, but no further answers were to be found atop the frigid peak. Dejected, Emperor Xiao Hao trudged back down the mountain to consult his companion, the Monkey King, and determine his next move. It was at this very location 10,000 years ago that Xiao Hao, the last emperor of Pandaria, defeated the Shah of Doubt and imprisoned it within the land. From the Book of Burdens, Chapter 5. Xiao Hao meditated for 3 days and 3 nights, for the counsel of the Jade Serpent was unclear. How could one purge oneself of all doubt? Weary of waiting, Xiao Hao's traveling companion, the Monkey King, whittled a strange, grimacing visage out of bamboo. He urged the emperor to place the mask of doubt on his face. While mischief was the Monkey King's motivation, the mask worked. As Xiao Hao pulled the mask away, his doubts took on a physical form. For 7 hours they fought, until the Shah of Doubt was buried. From that day onward, the last emperor had no doubt that he would save Pandaria from the sundering. He became a creature of faith. It was at this very location, 10,000 years ago, that Xiao Hao, the last emperor of Pandaria, defeated the Shah of Despair and imprisoned it within the land. From the Book of Burdens, Chapter 9. After his success in the Jade Forest, Emperor Xiao Hao was filled with courage, but fretted over an uncertain future. He sought the counsel of the Red Crane, the spirit of hope, deep within the Krasarang wilds. The Red Crane told the Emperor that hope was within all of us, if we looked deep enough. With that, the Monkey King presented Emperor Xiao Hao with a mask of despair, a forlorn visage of terrible sadness. The Emperor donned the mask and drew out his own hopelessness. The battle against the Shah of Doubt lasted 4 days and 5 nights in a pouring rain, but with the help of the Red Crane and the Monkey King, all of Xiao Hao's despair was extinguished. From that day forth, the Emperor knew the future was bright. He became a creature of hope. It was at this very location 10,000 years ago that Xiao Hao, the last emperor of Pandaria, defeated the Shah of Fear and imprisoned it within the land. From the Book of Burdens, Chapter 14. Although purged of doubt and despair, Emperor Xiao Hao was still overcome by fear. He sought the counsel of the Black Ox, spirit of bravery and fortitude, who lived in the steeps beyond the wall. The Black Ox, Red Crane, Emperor, and Monkey King discussed the nature of fear at great length, until at last the Monkey King was inspired to act. A mask of fear was created, terrifying to behold. With trembling hands, the Emperor donned the horrific mask so as to draw forth his own fears. The battle against the Shah of Fear lasted a week and a day, during which time legend has it that the sun never rose. When the Shah was at last defeated and imprisoned in the earth, Emperor Xiaohao was forever changed, for he no longer felt his own fears. He became a creature of courage. It was at this very location 10,000 years ago that Xiaohao, the last emperor of Pandaria, defeated the Shah of Anger, the Shah of Hatred, and the Shah of Violence. From the Book of Burdens, Chapter 19. Confident and fearless, Emperor Xiaohao thought nothing could stop him. But at the urging of the Red Crane, he sought out the counsel of the White Tiger, the spirit of strength. The White Tiger saw in Xiaohao a dangerous recklessness that often accompanies those with no fear. He gathered together the greatest warriors of Pandaria to test the Emperor. Emperor Xiaohao was given a 10-foot pole and was challenged to strike one of the warriors. For hours they fought, but the warriors were too quick and too nimble for the untrained Emperor. He grew angry, he cursed, and finally broke the staff over his knee. Humbled, the Emperor asked the White Tiger what was wrong, and learned that his own passions made him weak. To save Pandaria, Xiaohao would have to combat his own anger, hatred, and violence. The Monkey King sprang into action and carved 3 masks. The Emperor wore each mask in turn, and with the help of his friends, as well as all of the greatest warriors of Pandaria, the Shah of Anger, the Shah of Hatred, and the Shah of Violence were defeated and imprisoned beneath the ground. The Emperor was forever changed, and as he set forth on the final leg of his adventure, he was a creature of patience, love, and peace. The Shadowpan Order was founded 10,000 years ago, under a charter from Xiaohao, the last emperor of Pandaria. Emperor Xiaohao knew that the dark energies of the Shah, the physical embodiment of negative emotions like anger, fear, hatred, or doubt, represented a great threat to the Pandaren if allowed to fester beneath the land. He tasked the greatest warriors of Pandaria with the duty to restrain and control the Shah. On this very location, mere hours after Emperor Xiaohao bested his own anger, hatred, and violence, the first of the Shadowpan took their knee and spoke an oath to the last emperor, the same words that have been spoken by every Shadowpan initiate ever since, for the last 10,000 years. 10,000 years ago, Emperor Xiaohao, the last emperor of Pandaria, used the power of these sacred waters to save Pandaria from the devastation of the sundering that destroyed the rest of the world. From the Book of Burdens, Epilogue. At the dusk of the final day, the sky was bathed in green fire, and the very ground trembled in terror. But the Emperor was not afraid. His mind was clear of any doubt or despair. He feasted, and he sang as the sky tore open. Seeing fear and doubt in his subjects' eyes, Emperor Xiaohao delivered a proclamation that one should live each day to its fullest, and sleep each night with the peace of a mind unburdened. Legend tells us that he ascended to the Terrace of Eternal Spring, there to separate Pandaria from the rest of the world. But try as he might, he was unable. The ground trembled, but he did not move. Soon, he began to doubt, and the Shah of Doubt began to emerge from the east. He began to fear, and the Shah of Fear began ripping out of its shackles to the west. Desperately, he called out to the Jade Serpent for help. The Jade Serpent circled the veil and spoke to the beleaguered emperor. Pandaria is more than just the Pandaren Empire, he told Xiaohao. Your enemies to the west are as much a part of this land as your empire behind the wall. Seeing that all things were connected in an eternal whole, and that his beloved land was more than just the Pandaren Empire, Xiaohao at last understood. His staff clattered to the floor as his spirit became one with the land. When the world tore itself apart, Pandaria drifted quietly into the ocean. and as the Emperor's robes fluttered empty to the ground, the land became enveloped in an impenetrable mist, hidden away from the rest of the world.
You wish to learn of our last and greatest Emperor Xiao Hao. Oh, my friend, I do not have the time here to recount all of his adventures, but his actions 10,000 years ago resonate to this very day. We know that he purged his doubts in the Jade Forest, that he cleansed himself of despair in the Krasarang Wilds, that he overcame his fear in the town-long steppes, and that he defeated anger, hatred, and violence high in the mountains of Kunlai. This is known, and there are temples to mark these most sacred of places. But I want you to imagine standing in this very valley on the day he returned from his journey. Imagine being here when the gates opened for him. By then, our Emperor was a creature of pure light. No doubts, no fears. No. It is said that all the trees in the Vale blossomed as he entered, and continue to blossom to this day. Would that we could all live like our most sacred Emperor, that we could put aside all our burdens and exist in harmony with the cosmos. That, I believe, was his message to us, before he became one with the land and hid Pandaria away from the terror of the Sundering. Thank you, dear Emperor.